Throughout history, the concept of citizenship has been in constant flux, molded by the ebb and flow of empires and ideologies. From the ancient Greeks, with their city-states and notions of civic virtue, to the Roman Republic, where citizenship was both a privilege and a burden, the relationship between the individual and the state has been a source of enduring tension. The rise of monarchies with their divine right of kings marked a shift towards centralized power and a diminished role for the common citizen. Feudalism, with its rigid social hierarchy and obligations, further solidified the power of the ruling class, leaving the vast majority of people as subjects, not citizens. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, individual liberty, and natural rights, challenged the foundations of monarchical rule and paved the way for the modern nation-state. The American Revolution, a beacon of hope for those yearning for self-governance, enshrined the principles of popular sovereignty, limited government, and individual rights in the United States Constitution. This revolutionary document, a testament to the enduring power of human aspirations, established a system where power flowed from the people, not from a distant monarch or a privileged elite. However, the struggle between freedom and state control did not end with the ratification of the Constitution. The tension between individual liberty and the common good, between the rights of the individual and the needs of society, continues to shape the contours of American citizenship. Today, as we navigate the complexities of a globalized world, we are once again grappling with fundamental questions about the nature of citizenship, the role of government, and the meaning of national identity. The challenges we face are not merely theoretical or abstract. They are real, they are pressing, and they have profound implications for the future of our nation. The erosion of national sovereignty, the rise of global governance structures, and the increasing interconnectedness of the world economy have all contributed to a sense of unease among many Americans. They feel as if their country is slipping away from them, that their voices are no longer being heard, and that their values are under assault. The American middle class, long the bedrock of our nation's economic prosperity and social stability, is facing unprecedented challenges. Once the envy of the world, the American dream of upward mobility, homeownership, and a secure retirement is increasingly out of reach for millions of hardworking Americans. The forces behind this decline are complex and multifaceted, but their impact is undeniable. Globalization, while creating new opportunities for some, has also led to the outsourcing of jobs, the suppression of wages, and the hollowing out of American manufacturing. The rise of automation and artificial intelligence, while promising increased productivity and efficiency, also threatens to displace millions of workers from their jobs, further exacerbating economic inequality. The decline of unions, once a powerful voice for working Americans, has weakened the bargaining power of labor and contributed to a widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. The consequences of this decline are far-reaching and profound. As the middle class shrinks, so too does its purchasing power, which in turn weakens the overall economy. Social mobility stagnates, as fewer Americans have the opportunity to climb the economic ladder and achieve a better life for themselves and their children. Political polarization intensifies, as those left behind by the global economy feel increasingly alienated from the political process and resentful of those they perceive as benefiting from the status quo. The decline of the middle class is not just an economic issue, it is a social, political, and cultural crisis that threatens the very fabric of our nation. It is a crisis that demands our attention, our action, and our commitment to finding solutions that will restore economic opportunity and social mobility for all Americans. The United States has always been a nation of immigrants, a beacon of hope for those seeking a better life on our shores. However, the issue of immigration has become increasingly complex and contentious in recent decades, with profound implications for our national identity, our economic well-being, and our very sovereignty. The porous nature of our borders, coupled with the allure of the American dream, has led to a surge in illegal immigration, straining our resources, overwhelming our social services, and undermining the rule of law. While many argue that immigrants contribute to our economy and enrich our culture, the reality is far more nuanced. Illegal immigration in particular places a significant burden on taxpayers, depresses wages for low-skilled workers, and fuels organized crime and human trafficking. The failure of our government to secure our borders and enforce our immigration laws has eroded public trust and created a sense of lawlessness in many communities. Moreover, the influx of millions of people from diverse cultures, many of whom do not speak English and do not share our values, poses a significant challenge to our national unity and our ability to assimilate newcomers into the American mainstream. The melting pot ideal, where immigrants from all over the world came together to forge a new national identity, has given way to a salad bowl mentality, where different cultures coexist but do not necessarily blend or integrate. This trend towards balkanization, fueled by identity politics and multiculturalism, threatens to divide us along ethnic and cultural lines, undermining our sense of shared purpose and national identity. America, once a beacon of unity and a symbol of hope for people from all walks of life, is facing a crisis of identity. The rise of tribalism, fueled by identity politics and the politics of resentment, is tearing at the very fabric of our nation, dividing us along racial, ethnic, religious, and ideological lines. What was once a melting pot, where people from all over the world came together to forge a new national identity based on shared values and aspirations, is now fragmenting into a collection of competing tribes, each vying for power, influence, and recognition. Identity politics, with its emphasis on group identity over individual merit, has poisoned our public discourse, creating a climate of suspicion, hostility, and resentment. Instead of judging individuals based on the content of their character, as Martin Luther King Jr. so eloquently urged us to do, we are now encouraged to see each other through the lens of race, gender, sexual orientation, and other group affiliations. This obsession with identity has led to a culture of victimhood, where groups compete for the mantle of oppression, and where any perceived slight is amplified and weaponized for political gain. The consequences of this tribalism are far-reaching and profound. It undermines our sense of shared purpose and national unity, making it increasingly difficult to address the challenges we face as a nation. It erodes trust in our institutions, as people lose faith in the ability of government to represent the interests of all Americans, not just those of favored groups. It fuels political polarization, as people retreat into their respective ideological silos, unwilling to engage in civil discourse or compromise.